Our next act is Harbani Kaur. She is she's a really unique act, and I appreciate her because of her role with ICAD. So art and its crucial role in social justice movements has been an important part of ICAD since its founding. Almost 10 years ago, ICAD had an event that brought together the work of 12 artists nationally to showcase their work on art and discrimination. So today, we're sharing for the first time the work of ICAD's artist in residence, Harbani Kaur. With your support, the Artivism program will bring in talented artists each year to develop their social justice work and provide them global exposure. Art is an increasingly important tool for movement building and is a language that can connect peoples across borders. That is why ICAD considers fostering the next generation of artivists fundamental to fulfilling its mission. A little bit about Harbani Kaur. She's a multi-hyphenate. So Harbani is a public interest attorney committed to serving marginalized communities and advocating for human rights in all spaces. Harbani is also a writer who enjoys creating art through various mediums, including graphic design and poetry. Harbani's latest project, which she'll tell us more about in collaboration with ICAD, is entitled Dicta, and it combines her love for the law and poetry and seeks to unearth the essence of decisions by courts of law in order to illuminate the broader societal context in which they were written. Welcome, Harbani.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for the introduction. I'm super excited and humbled to be joined by all of these talented artists today. Hello, everyone. My name is Harbani Kaur Ahuja, and I'm an artivist with ICAD. And for the last year, I've been developing my project, Dicta, and I'm so excited to preview it for you all today. As a way of background, Dicta was very much born out of my love for poetry. I've been writing poetry since I was a little girl, and I always loved finding poetry in the strangest of places. So naturally, when I went to law school and spent most of my days reading giant textbooks filled with cases, I decided to find some poetry there. The process of dicta is simple. I find a Supreme Court case, I black out everything but a few words, and those words form a poem. However, dicta itself serves as much more than that. It is a commentary on the case, a reflection on the state of society at the time the case was decided. I think that we as a people often view the law as a larger than us concept that we don't quite understand or find accessible. And we often also view it as the equivalent of justice. So I think that what my intention with dicta here was to expose the gap between the law and justice. So what does dicta mean, and why is this project titled Dicta? So as a student of law, you learn that there are various components that make up a court's decision. The first is the facts of the case. The second is the issue or the question that the court is deciding. And the third is the holding or the conclusion that the court reaches as an answer to the question. But there's also another component, and that is called dicta. Dicta is other arguments or logic or reasoning that is in a case that is considered persuasive, but is not binding on other courts. It is not the main point of the case, but it is essentially other information that sort of is present in the background of a case. And so I call this project Dicta because my goal was really to pull out through poetry what lays in the background of case law. So I'm excited to share two of my pieces from my Dicta project with you today. One of the pieces is from a set of 10 poems on the theme of rights of Black people. And the second is a set of poems, is from a set of poems on the theme of right to love. The first poem is from a Supreme Court case decided in 1982, and this case is titled L.A. v. Lyons. Justice found that no one, not even a person who has been choked to death, will raise any concern. The officers greeted him with drawn revolvers, grabbed and slammed. He struggled for air, lying face down on the ground, choking, gasping for air, a chokehold without justification. If you read this piece, you may think it sounds disturbingly like the murder of Erica Garner or the murder of George Floyd or many other cases that we have unfortunately read in the news. What's striking is that this case is actually from 1976 and is very procedural in nature. The court here is deciding whether Mr. Lyons, the plaintiff in this case, has standing to sue the city of Los Angeles when he sought to bar the use of chokeholds. The court found that he did not. The police in this case had stopped Mr. Lyons for a traffic violation. He was seized and he was held in a chokehold, which rendered him unconscious and damaged his larynx. The facts of this case are truly horrifying, and you can't help but think of the continued use of chokeholds and police brutality against Black men and women in this country time and time again, and wonder whether and how this case could possibly align with justice. The second poem that I'll be sharing is from a Supreme Court case that was decided in 2015, and this one is titled Obergefell v. Hodges. No one has the right to deny love, not the Constitution, not the state, and not the court. Love. Love is the oldest right. In this case, which was actually decided pretty recently while I was in law school, the court finally decided to legalize same-sex marriage. And what I sought to draw out in this piece was really the strange reality that we live in, where entities like courts and legislatures determine who we have the right to love and marry. This was just a sneak peek of the many, many cases that I've been working on in this project, and I'm so excited that later this year they'll be released in the form of a virtual exhibit. I hope that you will all be able to check it out and engage with the work. And I just want to give a huge thank you to ICAD, especially Hansdeep and Jaspreet Virji for their encouragement and their interest in the work, and to the Sun Network for this incredible event. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Harbani. That was wonderful, and we're so grateful to have artists and activists like you, not just for the work that you do, but also the inspiration and aspiration that you're passing on to the next generation. So thank you so much for that.